The galaxy had always looked at Earth with laughter. For countless generations, alien species had called humans weak, fragile, and unworthy of notice. Across the stars, in shining halls and massive space stations, the Council of Galactic Powers held meetings to discuss Earth as if it were a small, failing project. They laughed at Earth's wars, poverty, and fragile governments. They called humanity insignificant, a species too primitive to survive among the stars. Captain Alara Miles remembered hearing the words for the first time. The Council's holographic session had projected alien faces all around, shimmering with cold light. Earth cannot survive a true galactic conflict, one alien voice had declared, sharp and dismissive. Their weapons are primitive. Their courage is irrelevant. Ilara had felt anger and disbelief, but not fear. She knew humanity's story was different from what these aliens saw on screens. She remembered the humans who had survived plague, famine, war, and natural disasters. Humanity had always been underestimated, yet somehow they had endured. From stone tools to spaceflight, humans had learned to adapt, to rise, and to survive against all odds. She walked along the corridors of the United Earth Fleet's flagship, Aegis, watching her crew. Ordinary humans, they had no special powers, no psychic abilities, no armor stronger than their own bodies. And yet, she saw courage burning in every eye. These were the people who would fight to the last breath for their planet, for their home. They would show the galaxy that human strength was not in what they lacked, but in what they carried inside. Underground shipyards buzzed with secret activity. Engineers worked tirelessly, welding and shaping new warships that gleamed like sharp blades in the dim light. Scientists studied alien technology captured from probes and stray fleets, not just copying but improving it. They created systems faster than light, shields stronger than any seen before, and weapons that could change the tide of battle. In classrooms and training halls, young pilots endured grueling exercises. They trained for hours in zero gravity. Simulations, learned to control ships with precision, and studied alien battle tactics until every move became instinct. They knew that when the time came, humanity could no longer hide. They had to strike with brilliance and courage that one would expect. Ilara paused at the observation deck, staring at the stars. The universe stretched endlessly before her, beautiful and unforgiving. A soft breeze from the artificial climate brushed her face. She felt a quiet determination settle in her chest. "Let them laugh," she whispered. "They have no idea what we are capable of." She remembered stories from Earth's past. The explorers who had crossed oceans with only hope and courage, the inventors who had dreamed of the impossible, the soldiers who had faced overwhelming odds with nothing but their will. Humanity had always risen when it mattered most, and now, among the stars, they would rise again. Families of humans on distant colonies watched the same stars. They had grown up hearing whispers of their planet's weakness. They had seen alien broadcasts mocking Earth as backward and doomed. Yet inside each heart was the same stubborn flame, the refusal to be counted out, the belief that human life, ingenuity, and courage mattered. The galaxy may have declared Earth weak, but humanity knew differently. In secret, the United Earth Fleet prepared for the coming storm. Ships were equipped, crews trained, and strategies developed that even the most cunning alien minds would not expect. Every system, every weapon, every human involved was a step toward proving that bravery and intelligence could defeat even the strongest fleets. Ilara stood on the bridge one last time before the fleet's first mission. Her hand rested on the control panel, feeling the vibrations of the ship. She spoke quietly, more to herself than anyone else. "The galaxy doesn't see us yet, but when they do, they will understand. They will know that human courage is a force they cannot measure." The stars twinkled beyond the hull, calm and indifferent. Yet among the humans, a quiet storm was brewing, a storm of determination, of hope, of defiance. Earth was small, its fleets were few, its weapons seemed weak, but the human spirit, the unyielding drive to survive and fight, would not be ignored. Not now, not ever. And so, under the indifferent gaze of the cosmos, humanity prepared. The galaxy had mocked them for centuries, but humanity would answer, not with words, but with fire, strategy, and courage that no species had ever seen. The first step was taken. The journey had begun, and the galaxy had no idea that the era of human defiance was about to begin. Part 2. Rising Shadows. The first signs of change appeared quietly, almost unnoticed. Alien scouts reported unusual energy signatures near the Sol system. Fleets of ships, sleek and unlike anything the galaxy had catalogued, began emerging from Earth's orbit. Their weapons glowed faintly, their shields pulsed with new energy. The aliens grew uneasy. The species that had mocked Earth now paused in confusion. Messages flooded across the stars. Ambassadors demanded Earth retreat, spoke of annihilation, and threatened punishment. Yet the humans did not flinch. They had been preparing silently for decades. What the galaxy believed was weakness was only a mask. Humanity had been building a fleet capable of defying expectation, hiding their strength until the moment it mattered most. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of Aegis, watching the distant flickers of approaching alien ships. She did not feel fear. Instead, she felt the pulse of anticipation, the thrill of a challenge humanity had long awaited. Her crew moved with quiet efficiency, checking instruments, recalibrating shields, running drills. Each human aboard knew what was coming, and each heart beat with resolve. Lieutenant Ryan, her second in command, spoke with calm certainty. They think they can overwhelm us. They see only what they expect, weakness. They do not see the strength hidden behind it. Ilara nodded. Strength is not measured by size, Ryan. It is measured by courage, strategy, and will. Let them come. Let the galaxy see. Earth had developed what they called the Silence Protocol. It allowed their fleets to move undetected across light years, to strike before an enemy even realized they were under attack. Their ships could hide among asteroids, warp between systems in ways alien fleets had never imagined, and communicate across vast distances with perfect coordination. The galaxy believed Earth weak, but Earth's true power was the element of surprise, paired with human ingenuity. Across the fleet, engineers monitored the final preparations. Weapons hummed with latent energy. Shields glowed with protective light, and pilots ran through mental simulations, each movement rehearsed 1,000 times. Fear was absent. It had been replaced with determination and the unspoken understanding that this was humanity's moment. Far away, alien leaders grew increasingly worried. Their intelligence reports showed movements that made no sense. Ships appeared where none should exist, communications were scrambled, and reports of strange tactics reached every council chamber. Panic began to seep into their deliberations. On Earth, families watched the same stars. Children had grown up believing the galaxy dismissed them. Now, as night fell and the stars shimmered, they felt a different emotion: hope. The humans preparing to defend their planet were ordinary people, pilots, engineers, soldiers, but their courage was extraordinary. Every child who had once dreamed of the stars now felt the thrill of possibility. Ilara moved along the bridge, passing her crew. Their faces were tense but focused, determined but calm. She felt pride swell in her chest. "We have trained for this," she said softly. "We have waited for this. And now, we step into history. Let them underestimate us. Let them believe Earth is weak. It will be their undoing." In the quiet, Moments before the first engagement, the fleet prepared in silence. Every calculation, every maneuver, every thought was aligned. Humanity did not rush blindly. They planned, anticipated, and perfected. The galaxy had dismissed them as weak. But Earth's fleets were ready to prove the opposite, and as the alien fleets approached, confident and dismissive, the humans waited. They waited with patience, precision, and unshakable courage. They waited because the galaxy had laughed at them for too long. The first strike was coming, and when it did, the stars themselves would tremble. The alien fleets approached, shining, in the darkness of space, like a river of cold, indifferent stars. They expected a simple victory. Earth was weak, they believed, a planet of insignificant humans with fragile ships and primitive weapons. They had seen no threat. They expected resistance to crumble in hours, and yet they did not notice the stillness in the void around them, the silence that hid humanity's true strength. Captain Alara Miles stood on the bridge of Aegis, her eyes fixed on the approaching armada. The sensors had already mapped their formations, their weapons, their communications. Every alien movement, every signal was being watched, anticipated, and prepared for. The humans had waited for this moment, for decades, and now it had finally arrived. Lieutenant Rian turned to Alara, voice steady, though his eyes betrayed excitement. "They don't see us," he said. "We are shadows to them, invisible, and ready to strike." Alara nodded, a calm fire burning within her. "Then let the silence speak," she said. "Let them understand what it means to underestimate Earth." The fleet moved with quiet precision. Thousands of ships glimmered faintly as they slipped from hidden warp positions, converging on alien vessels with a speed that no one had anticipated. The silence that followed the first strike was unlike anything the galaxy had ever known. Alien fleets, once arrogant and confident, now scattered in confusion. Command structures were broken, communication lines destroyed, and entire squadrons vanished as if swallowed by the void. The galaxy, which had mocked Earth for centuries, was beginning to understand that humans were not to be underestimated. Captain Alara Miles stood on the bridge of Aegis, her eyes scanning the remaining enemy formations. The stars stretched endlessly before her, punctuated by glowing wreckage of alien ships drifting in silence. The aftermath of humanity's first strike was breathtaking, and yet there was no time to rest. The battle had been won, but the war was only beginning. Lieutenant Ryan, standing beside her, spoke quietly. "Captain, they didn't expect this. Their fleets are scattered, morale shattered. They never believed humans could fight like this." Alara nodded, her gaze unwavering. "We have proven them wrong, Ryan. But now we must maintain momentum. We must strike with precision, not just force. Every move counts. Every decision shapes the future." Across the fleet, humans worked tirelessly. Pilots repaired damaged ships, engineers recalibrated weapons, and soldiers prepared for boarding actions. There was grief, too. Some ships had been lost, brave pilots sacrificed in the heat of battle. Each loss weighed heavily, but the human spirit was unbroken. Every sacrifice became fuel for determination, a reminder of what was at stake: the survival and honor of Earth. Reports began to filter in from distant systems. Planets that had been under alien control were now free. Systems once thought lost were reclaimed. Humans moved quickly, striking not only to destroy but to liberate. The galaxy had seen humans as weak, but now humanity was a force that combined speed, intelligence, and courage in ways no one had imagined. Alara walked among her crew, observing their focus. "Every life we save," she said softly, "every system we liberate is a message. We are not weak. We are not small. We are humanity, and we will endure." In alien command centers, panic had taken root. The council convened in emergency sessions, their voices trembling as reports of losses poured in. They had underestimated humans. They had believed Earth's fleets were primitive, its weapons insignificant, and its people weak. But humanity had shown that courage and strategy could defy even the most powerful technologies. One alien admiral, a massive being covered in armored scales, slammed a clawed hand on a holographic table. "How can this be?" he growled. "We outnumber them. We are superior in every measure, yet we are losing to humans?" A crystalline council member trembled, its facets shimmering nervously. "Their tactics, they are unpredictable, precise, coordinated. They move like shadows, strike like fire. They are extraordinary." While the galaxy scrambled in fear, humanity did not gloat. The humans aboard Aegis and across the fleet knew that victory was not yet complete. The alien fleets would recover. The true test of strength was not in the first strike, but in the endurance, courage, and unity to continue fighting when the enemy adapts. Elara gathered her senior officers for a briefing. "The first strike proved what we can do," she said. "But we cannot rely on surprise forever. Our enemies will learn. We must be smarter, faster, and more precise. Every ship, every pilot, every soldier matters. Our goal is clear. Protect Earth, liberate the systems we can, and show the galaxy that humanity is unstoppable." The officers nodded, a mix of pride and determination shining on their faces. Every member of the fleet understood their place in history. Every action they took could change the course of the war, and every human on board Aegis carried a simple, unshakable truth: they would not be defeated. Across liberated systems, humans encountered those who had lived under alien oppression. The gratitude in their eyes was overwhelming. Families reunited, planets began to rebuild, and whispers of hope spread like wildfire. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were liberators, symbols of courage and resilience. Elara watched. From the observation deck as a distant planet, once shadowed under alien rule, began to glow with light again. "This is what we fight for," she whispered. "Not only Earth, but every life that deserves freedom. Courage is contagious. Humanity will inspire the galaxy." Despite the victories, humans remained vigilant. The alien forces, though scattered, were dangerous and cunning. Each encounter required careful planning, precise execution, and relentless courage. Humanity's fleets moved like a river of silver and fire, striking, liberating, and disappearing before the enemy could respond. "Lieutenant," Ryan looked out at the fleet, pride in his voice. "Captain, we are changing the galaxy. They will never see Earth the same way again." Elara's eyes softened as she gazed at the stars. "No," she said, "they will never see us the same way. The galaxy once mocked us. It once called us weak. But now they see strength, courage, and unity in a way they cannot ignore. Humanity is not fragile. Humanity is unstoppable." As the fleet prepared for the next engagement, the stars themselves seemed to shimmer differently. The void that had once seemed silent and indifferent now carried the weight of human determination. The galaxy had underestimated Earth, and in doing so, it had awakened a force that would not be denied. The turning tide had begun. Humanity had proven that courage, intelligence, and resilience could overcome even the greatest odds. The galaxy had mocked Earth for centuries, but now, one battle at a time, humans were reshaping history. And Captain Elara Miles knew that the best was yet to come. The galaxy had underestimated humans, but the humans of Earth had learned one truth: weakness is only a perception, courage is limitless, and when the will to survive burns strong, even the stars themselves must bow. The alien council had convened again, but this time the atmosphere was heavy with panic. Their halls, once filled with confident laughter and displays of superiority, were now silent, punctuated only by the hum of failing systems and urgent messages of disaster. Reports came in faster than they could process. Fleets destroyed, colonies liberated, command structures obliterated. The galaxy's so-called weak humans had proven that they were anything but. Zorath, a massive scaled being with claws that could crush steel, slammed a fist on the crystalline table. Impossible! How can this be? Every calculation, every prediction, everything we believed, they are wrong. Completely wrong. A crystalline diplomat, facets trembling in a rare display of fear, whispered, They cannot be ordinary beings. Their strategy, their precision, it is beyond comprehension. The humans, Earth, they are extraordinary. In the council chamber, holographic displays showed the devastation of alien fleets, systems glowing, with destruction and liberation. Every alien species began to feel the creeping weight of fear. For centuries, they had underestimated Earth. Now they realized that this underestimation could cost them everything. Back on the human flagship, Aegis, Captain Alara Miles did not gloat at the reports. She stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars, littered with the remains of alien arrogance. Pride filled her, yes, but it was tempered with understanding. Humanity had achieved the impossible once, but the galaxy was far from defeated. There were still battles ahead, and every victory had to be earned. Lieutenant Ryan approached her quietly. Captain, they are panicking. The Council doesn't know how to respond. Every fleet they send is destroyed or turned back. They believed. They were superior. And now they are lost. Ilara nodded, her gaze unwavering. Let them panic, Ryan. Let them see the truth. The galaxy has laughed at Earth for centuries, but laughter is over. Now comes respect. Now comes caution. And if they do not heed it, survival. Across liberated systems, humans were met with awe and gratitude. Planets once occupied by alien forces were being rebuilt, cities repaired, and lives restored. Human. Soldiers, pilots, and engineers moved among the populations, offering protection, repairs, and hope. They were not conquerors. They were liberators, a shining example of courage and unity. News from the front lines spread quickly through the galaxy, reaching species that had once sneered at Earth. Even those far from the battle zones began to whisper tales of humans who could strike like shadows, who could anticipate moves before they happened, and who could endure what no other species had survived. Fear replaced arrogance in many hearts. The galaxy was learning that humanity was not a species to underestimate. Alara gathered her senior officers in the strategy room. The Council is panicking, she said, but that is only the beginning. Panic can lead to mistakes, and mistakes can give us an advantage. We must continue to move carefully, strike decisively, and maintain the initiative. Every system we secure, every enemy vessel we neutralize, strengthens humanity's place in the stars. Her officers nodded, a mixture of pride and determination on their faces. Every human on board understood their role in this monumental moment. This was more than a war. It was proof that humanity could rise above perception, that courage, intelligence, and unity could challenge the mightiest forces in the galaxy. In distant council chambers, alien leaders began to question themselves. We underestimated them, one said. We mocked them, called them weak. Yet they have shattered our fleets, liberated entire systems, and proven that strength is more than size, more than technology. Strength is will, ingenuity, and courage. Back. On Earth, the people followed the battle's progress with a mixture of awe. The alien council had convened again, but this time, the atmosphere was heavy with panic. Their halls, once filled with confident laughter and displays of superiority, were now silent, punctuated only by the hum of failing systems and urgent messages of disaster. Reports came in faster than they could process. Fleets destroyed, colonies liberated, command structures obliterated. The galaxy's so-called weak humans had proven that they were anything but. Zorath, a massive scaled being with claws that could crush steel, slammed a fist on the crystalline table. Impossible! How can this be? Every calculation, every prediction, everything we believed, they are wrong, completely wrong. A crystalline diplomat, facets trembling in a rare display of fear, whispered, They cannot be ordinary beings. Their strategy, their precision, it is beyond comprehension. The humans, Earth, they are extraordinary. In the council chamber, holographic displays showed the devastation of alien fleets, systems glowing, with destruction and liberation. Every alien species began to feel the creeping weight of fear. For centuries, they had underestimated Earth. Now they realized that this underestimation could cost them everything. Back on the human flagship Aegis, Captain Elara Miles did not gloat at the reports. She stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars, littered with the remains of alien arrogance. Pride filled her, yes, but it was tempered with understanding. Humanity had achieved the impossible once, but the galaxy was far from defeated. There were still battles ahead, and every victory had to be earned. Lieutenant Rian approached her quietly. Captain, they are panicking. The Council doesn't know how to respond. Every fleet they send is destroyed or turned back. They believed they were superior, and now they are lost. Elara nodded, her gaze unwavering. Let them panic, Ryan. Let them see the truth. The galaxy has laughed at Earth for centuries, but laughter is over. Now comes respect. Now comes caution. And if they do not heed it, survival. Across liberated systems, humans were met with awe and gratitude. Planets once occupied by alien forces were being rebuilt, cities repaired, and lives restored. Human, soldiers, pilots, and engineers moved among the populations, offering protection, repairs, and hope. They were not conquerors. They were liberators, a shining example of courage and unity. News from the front lines spread quickly through the galaxy, reaching species that had once sneered at Earth. Even those far from the battle zones began to whisper tales of humans who could strike like shadows, who could anticipate moves before they happened, and who could endure what no other species had survived. Fear replaced arrogance in many hearts. The galaxy was learning that humanity was not a species to underestimate. Elara gathered her senior officers in the strategy room. The Council is panicking, she said, but that is only the beginning. Panic can lead to mistakes, and mistakes can give us an advantage. We must continue to move carefully, strike decisively, and maintain the initiative. Every system we secure, every enemy vessel we neutralize, strengthens humanity's place in the stars. Her officers nodded, a mixture of pride and determination on their faces. Every human on board understood their role in this monumental moment. This was more than a war. It was proof that humanity could rise above perception, that courage, intelligence, and unity could challenge the mightiest forces in the galaxy. In distant council chambers, alien leaders began to question themselves. We underestimated them, one said. We mocked them, called them weak. Yet they have shattered our fleets, liberated entire systems, and proven that strength is more than size, more than technology. Strength is will, ingenuity, and courage. Back on Earth, the people followed the battle's progress with a mixture of awe and pride. Children who had once looked at the stars and dreamed now saw them filled with human courage. Families cheered quietly, sending messages to fleets far away. Humanity had become more than a planet. It had become a symbol of defiance and hope. Elara stood on the observation deck of Aegis, her hand resting on the railing. She looked at the wreckage drifting silently through space and whispered, "Every human who has ever been counted out, every child who has been told they are weak, we fight for them. We fight to show that courage is not measured by size or power or technology. It is measured by will." Lieutenant Ryan joined her, his eyes reflecting both the stars and the fires of distant battles. "Captain, the galaxy will remember this. Every species that once mocked Earth, they will never forget." Ilara's voice softened, filled with quiet pride. "No, Rian, they will never forget. But more importantly, humans will remember too. We will never forget our courage, our unity, and our determination. That is what makes us strong." As the Council struggled to regroup, humans did not pause. Every fleet moved with careful precision, anticipating enemy maneuvers, liberating occupied systems, and protecting civilians. They fought not for conquest or glory, but for survival, freedom, and the honor of Earth. Across the galaxy, whispers began to change. Fear replaced laughter. Respect replaced scorn. Stories spread of humans who could fight with brilliance, who could endure with courage, and who could rise against impossible odds. Humanity's legend was growing, and it would shape the galaxy in ways that no one had imagined. Ilara turned to her officers, determination shining in her eyes. "The Council may panic. The galaxy may fear us. But that is the moment we prove ourselves again. Every strike, every mission, every life we protect strengthens humanity. And one day, the galaxy will understand what it truly means to face humans." The stars stretched endlessly before them, silent witnesses to humanity's rise. The Council had once mocked Earth, declaring it weak, fragile, insignificant. But now, in the void of space, the galaxy began to realize a truth that could no longer be ignored. Humanity was brave, relentless, and unstoppable. And Captain Ilara Miles knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy had learned the taste of human courage, and the echoes of fear and awe would ripple across every star system for generations to come. The galaxy had tasted fear for the first time, but humanity did not pause to celebrate. On board the flagship Aegis, Captain Ilara Miles walked the corridors, observing her crew with quiet pride. Their faces were tired, some marked with soot and scratches from battle, yet their eyes burned with determination. Every human aboard understood one simple truth: this war was far from over, and the survival of Earth depended on their courage and unity. Lieutenant Rian met her on the bridge, his expression serious but calm. "Captain, the Council is regrouping. They've already begun coordinating new fleets. We will face them again." Ilara nodded. "I know, Ryan, and we will be ready. Humanity has always risen when the odds were against us. This is no different." Her voice was steady, but inside a fire blazed. She thought of every child, every family, every human who had ever been told they were weak. "We fight for them. We fight to show the galaxy that courage cannot be measured by size or numbers or technology. We fight because we will not be defeated." Across the fleet, engineers worked tirelessly. Ships were repaired, weapons recalibrated, and shields reinforced. Pilots trained relentlessly, running through simulations that tested their endurance and skill. Every human knew the value of preparation, for victory was not only in courage, but in strategy. On Earth, citizens watched the distant reports with pride and awe. Families sent messages to fleet commanders, words of encouragement and love traveling across the void of space. Children dreamed of becoming pilots and engineers, inspired by the bravery they witnessed. Humanity was no longer just a planet. It had become a symbol of hope, resilience, and defiance. Ilara convened her officers for a strategy briefing. "The Council will retaliate," she said, her eyes scanning the holographic maps of alien fleets. They will bring everything they have. But we are not weak. We have learned from the first engagement. We will anticipate their moves, strike with precision, and protect the systems we have liberated. Humanity does not falter. Her officers nodded, determination reflecting in their eyes. Every human on the fleet felt the weight of history on their shoulders. Yet it did not crush them. It inspired them. They were not just fighting for survival. They were shaping the destiny of their species. In the quiet moments between battles, Ilara often walked to the observation deck, staring at the endless stars. The galaxy stretched out before her, vast and indifferent, yet alive with the echoes of human courage. She remembered stories of Earth's past, explorers crossing oceans, inventors creating the impossible, soldiers standing firm against overwhelming odds. Humanity had always defied expectation. Now, among the stars, they would do it again. Lieutenant Rian joined her silently. "Captain, do you ever think about the cost?" he asked, his voice soft. Ilara's gaze did not waver. "Every life is precious, Ryan. Every human lost is a wound in our hearts. But if we falter now, countless more will suffer. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite it. Humanity will endure because we choose to fight, because we choose to survive, because we choose to rise." In distant sectors, alien, scouts reported new human formations. Fleets moved with quiet precision, hiding among asteroids and using advanced stealth technologies developed in secret. Every maneuver, every strategy was designed to protect humanity's strengths while exploiting enemy weaknesses. The Council, once confident, now trembled as their scouts broke. The alien fleets had regrouped, larger and more determined than ever. They had underestimated Earth once, but now they were determined to crush humanity before its legend could grow further. Vast armadas stretched across the stars, their engines glowing ominously, weapons poised to strike. They believed this time their overwhelming force would finally bring Earth to its knees. Captain Ilara Miles stood on the bridge of Aegis, her posture calm and unwavering. Around her, the crew worked with quiet precision, their eyes focused, hearts steady. Every human aboard knew that this battle could determine the fate of Earth and every system humanity had liberated. Yet there was no fear, only determination, a resolve forged in decades of preparation, training, and survival. Lieutenant Ryan moved beside her, scanning the massive alien fleet on the holographic display. "They've brought everything," he said quietly. "Their arrogance is stronger than ever." Ilara's eyes met his, and so is ours. They think numbers define strength. They think fear can break us. But courage, strategy, and unity, those are our weapons, and they will not expect what comes next. The humans had prepared for this moment meticulously. Every ship had been upgraded, every pilot trained to perfection, and every system optimized for the coming engagement. Humanity's fleet was smaller than the alien armada, but its coordination and strategy were unmatched. They had become shadows, striking where the enemy least expected, moving with speed and precision that no alien commander could anticipate. Though, first wave of the alien assault advanced, confident, arrogant. Their lasers cut through space, engines roaring as they converged on humanity's fleet. But the humans did not panic. With calm precision, they activated the silence protocol, slipping into positions that made them invisible to the alien sensors. Ships emerged from warp points behind enemy lines, striking the command vessels with devastating precision. Explosions erupted across the alien formations. Entire squadrons were destroyed before they could respond. The alien fleets, once confident, now faltered as human tactics tore through their numbers. Pilots maneuvered with instinctive skill, weaving through fire and striking targets in perfect coordination. Humanity's fleet moved like a single organism, each ship knowing its role, each crew member synchronized in action. Alara's voice rang clear across the bridge. Focus on command ships first. Disable their coordination. Then we move to liberate. The systems they hold. Every move counts. Every life matters. Humanity will not falter. Lieutenant Rian grinned, tension easing from his face. They thought we were weak. They thought Earth could be destroyed easily. They are wrong. As the battle raged, humans fought not just with weapons, but with ingenuity. Ships that had been considered slow now moved unpredictably, striking where the enemy had not anticipated. Shields absorbed blows that should have destroyed them, and counterattacks dismantled alien weapons before they could fire. Humanity's fleet was a storm of strategy, courage, and precision, overwhelming even the most powerful alien vessels. Yet amid the brilliance of strategy, there were moments of human vulnerability. Ships were damaged, pilots were lost, and explosions lit the darkness with fire and debris. Each loss was felt deeply, a reminder of the cost of courage. But every human aboard fought on, their resolve unshaken. Humanity's strength was not only in their ships, but in their hearts, their will, and their unity. Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched in disbelief. Their largest fleets, armed with the most advanced weapons, were being shattered by a species they had mocked for centuries. Panic spread through their ranks as their arrogance dissolved into fear. Every attempt to regroup was countered, every strategy anticipated, every move outmatched. Humanity was no longer weak. Humanity was unstoppable. Ilara moved to the observation deck, staring at the battlefield. The stars were littered with debris, glowing remnants of alien arrogance. She felt a mixture of sorrow and pride. Every human lost, she whispered. Every life given for Earth becomes part of our strength. We fight for them, and we fight for every human who has ever been told they are weak. This is our answer. In the midst of chaos, humanity's fleet continued its precision strikes. Alien command ships were disabled, communication arrays destroyed, and fleets fractured. The galaxy, which had laughed at Earth for centuries, now witnessed a force that could not be denied. Humanity had risen from the underestimated to the indomitable. Lieutenant Ryan turned to Alara, voice filled with awe. Captain, we're rewriting history. The galaxy, it's seeing humanity like never before. Ilara nodded, her eyes reflecting the fires of distant battles. Yes, Ryan. Let them see. Let them understand that courage, unity, and intelligence can overcome even the greatest odds. Earth is not weak. Humanity is not weak. And we will not be forgotten. As the final alien, fleets began to retreat, broken and demoralized. Humanity stood victorious. Ships drifted through the stars, carrying heroes who had faced impossible odds and survived. Systems were liberated, planets freed, and hope restored across the galaxy. Humans had not only defended their home, they had changed the perception of an entire universe. The stars were silent witnesses to human courage. The galaxy had mocked Earth, declaring it weak, insignificant, and fragile. But now, among the ruins of arrogance and the liberated systems, one truth was clear. Humanity was brilliant, courageous, and unstoppable. Ilara turned to her crew, her voice soft yet powerful. We have proven what humans can do, but this is only the beginning. The galaxy has learned our strength. Let this victory remind everyone. Never underestimate humanity. And across the endless stars, humanity's legend shone brighter than any weapon, brighter than any fleet. The galaxy would never forget the species that rose from underestimation to command awe. Silence had fallen over the alien fleets, not because humans had fled, but because the stars themselves trembled at what humanity had become. The galaxy was quiet. Not the peaceful quiet of untouched space, but a silence heavy with awe and respect. The alien fleets, once arrogant and overwhelming, had retreated. Systems that had been lost were reclaimed. Planets that had trembled under fear now breathed freely, rebuilt by hands guided by courage and hope. Humanity had not only survived, they had risen, shining brilliantly against the darkness of doubt and underestimation. Captain Alara Miles stood on the bridge of Aegis, her eyes sweeping across. The stars. The void stretched endlessly before her, littered with remnants of battle, floating ships, fractured planets, and echoes of destruction. Yet among the wreckage was a new truth. Humanity had earned a place among the stars, one not defined by numbers or technology, but by courage, resilience, and heart. Lieutenant Rian came to her side, his expression calm yet filled with wonder. "Captain, the galaxy is silent. No fleet dares challenge us. Even the Council. They are quiet. They have seen what we are capable of." Alara nodded slowly. "Yes, Rian. Silence is not surrender. It is understanding. The galaxy now knows. Humans are not weak. We are unstoppable. And they will never forget it." Across the liberated systems, humans worked tirelessly. Engineers restored power grids, children ran through open fields for the first time in years, and families reunited on planets that had once been battlefields. Humanity had not conquered. They had restored, healed, and inspired. The courage of the fleet became the courage of every human, and every human became a beacon of hope in the galaxy. Messages flowed across communications channels, stories of bravery traveling faster than ships. Pilots who had flown through storms, of alien fire, were celebrated. Engineers who had repaired ships under bombardment were honored. Soldiers who had defended colonies at the cost of their lives became legends. Humanity's legend was no longer confined to Earth. It stretched across the stars. Alara walked among her crew, offering quiet words of encouragement and gratitude. "Every one of you," she said softly, "has proven what it means to be human. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is standing tall even when fear surrounds you. Today we have shown the galaxy that courage, unity, and determination define who we are." Lieutenant Rian placed a hand on her shoulder, eyes glistening. "Captain, I think we've done it. The galaxy will remember Earth, not as weak, but as the spark that changed everything." Alara's voice softened, full of quiet pride and emotion. "Yes, Rian, we've done more than fight. We've inspired, and that is a legacy no weapon, no fleet, no empire can destroy. Humanity will be remembered, not for how many ships we have, but for how brave we are, how united we are, and how much we care for one another." In distant sectors, alien commanders watched with a mix of fear and respect. Their vast fleets had been shattered, not by numbers alone, but by the strategy, courage, and brilliance of humans. They had underestimated Earth, laughed at its people, and declared the species weak. And now, silence claimed the stars. A silence born from awe and fear. On Earth, people gazed at the night sky. The stars had always been distant, untouchable. But now they seemed different, closer, alive, filled with the echoes of human courage. Children dreamed of flying among them, and families whispered stories of humans who had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. Humanity had not just survived, it had transformed the galaxy's perception forever. Alara returned to the observation deck of Aegis, staring at the endless expanse. Memories of those lost in battle pressed upon her heart, yet she